Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and today we're going to be talking about something that may very well be game-breaking as far as preparing for Scourge goes. Now, some of this is going to depend on what they decide to do about this, and what I'm talking about is that there is currently some bugs actually with Spider-Woman, ironically, because they can never release a character without having something wrong. Now, I doubt I'm the first one to comment on this, but, you know, as far as on my channel, this is the first time I'm reporting this, and that's why I want to bring it to your attention. So there are some issues with Spider-Woman and how that pertains to, you know, what's upcoming with the Scourge event, and why I'm concerned about where this might be headed if they decide to keep this around. So we'll have more details here coming up, and without further ado, let's get this show started. Okay, and to really just, you know, drive this home a little bit, we're here on msf.gg because I don't have Spider-Woman unlocked. So I can't show you in the roster page window. I'm just, you know, I'm doing the free-to-play method for her. I'm not spending. I'm not opening cores this time around for her. But, you know, what's really important, and you know, I'm not here to talk about her entire kit. You know, I'm here to talk about what's bugged. She actually does have a decent kit, by the way, and I may invest in her, but whether or not I do invest in her is really going to depend on what they decide to do with this bug, and it comes down to her passive. And what's interesting is because what people were talking about originally when it came to the Scourge event, and knowing that A-Force and, you know, A-Force Young Avengers and Inhumans are going to be viable for this second iteration, is this aspect of her kit. Right, so, and what's most important is the war offense bit here, and specifically, it's if this character has 3 or more A-Force allies and above 30% health, lower accuracy by 25% for all enemies with offense down. So the current bug is that, 1, this works outside of war offense. Apparently this works in all game modes, supposedly. 2, it doesn't require her team. So it's actually just this. Lower accuracy by 25% for all enemies with offense down. Okay? And so what's interesting about this is that, well, like I said, it's usable outside of war offense. And what does that mean really long term? Well, that means it's going to be potentially usable in Scourge. And again, the reason why I'm concerned about this is because it's not how the text states. So I don't know if they're going to be adjusting this, or if they're going to do what they do sometimes, and that's matching the text to what's happening in the game. They've done that with a handful of characters. They've done that with Capstan. They've done it with Shang-Chi's special when it was, like, you know, being really weird. There's been instances where they've done that, but there's also been instances where they've actually changed it. So Kate Bishop's passive, for example, it was only working in war, but it was meant to be working in all game modes. So they did actually go back and change that. Now, this is an issue in the player's favor. Right, and so this makes Spider-Woman better than what she would have been, because if this is blocked, if this does get blocked into war offense only, then, you know, it's less valuable. But if it stays the way it is currently, then that opens up a whole new can of worms as far as the RNG Fiesta that you guys might remember from Scourge 1 with the dodging mechanic of Web Warriors. And so the interesting part is that, well, you don't need her on her team, you just need somebody to apply offense down. And so I'm concerned that this is going to, if it stays the way it is, I'm concerned that this is opening up to what we had in the first iteration of Scourge, where we're going to be leading to a bunch of resets over and over and over again, because you don't actually need her with her team. However, someone you're going to need to reliably land offense down possibly would be someone like Yo-Yo, right? And so I think that as long as the offense down is applied before they take their turn, which is what Yo-Yo does, then the accuracy is there, right? And there's not many characters in the Young Avengers that really apply, and for those who don't know Yo-Yo very well, sorry, I'm skipping ahead a bit. It's on her passive that applies offense down if there's no protector allies here on the field. Yeah, and the attack can't be dodged. But, you know, it relies on her focus versus the enemy, so that might be a bit of a problem. As far as other characters in the Young Avengers who apply offense down, it's like Squirrel Girl on her basic, because I think they... Oh, and her ultimate, sorry, one turn of that. They kind of changed the way that her ultimate is. But nobody else, as far as I'm aware, applies offense down. So this is the most... Aside from herself, of course, because Spider-Woman does actually apply that on her special as well, which is kind of good. Really good turn 1 ability, Gliding Assault, offense down for 2 turns, and Chains, and then also does the same thing. So that's a good way to apply the offense down if you don't have Yo-Yo as well. But this is, so you don't necessarily have to have her when it comes to the Scourge. But this is what I'm concerned about, is that it opens up that 30%, in this case, it's, sorry, 25% RNG, of reducing the accuracy. And if that's the case, then it'd be like, you know, reset, just like we had with Web Warriors as far as their dodging, which was around, I think, the 25 to 30% mark as well. You know, so it was around this same thing. Now, on top of that, of course, with A-Force, we have Nico Minoru, who's going to be coming out soon, and I think she's this week, and perhaps even by the release of this video, maybe she's already had her offer. And she's definitely someone who has a crap ton of RNG as well, right? You know, with her different abilities. So I'll zoom in a little bit here. But basically, the way that her skills work is that after every... And we don't even know entirely how this is going to work. And I'm a little bit concerned about that part, because it says after every use of this ability, after the first time during a match, do this stuff. And so does that mean the first use of that skill, specifically the basic, the special, or the ultimate, or does it mean just like any ability of this, you know, of the 3, and then it can do that? We don't really know how it's supposed to operate. It's very unique and a very not something that we've seen before, but there's things on here that would really could, you know, change the flow of battle, if you will, you know, depending on which ones you're using, especially like the ultimate. You know, apply 2 deflex to self and all allies randomly, gain 2 evade, revive a dead ally. I don't know if this is necessary, maybe, and you know, how much of this is actually working properly. So that's why I'm kind of like holding back. Like, I kind of, if going back to Spider-Woman, if this actually stays the same, if this passive stays, she could very well be a T16 worthy character, because she applies the offense down, which means that she can trigger it herself anyways. But, you know, this is a pretty substantial passive. It was a large part of her kit, and maybe some people were surprised that it was being hid behind more offense. And yeah, and she is city viable, so as a character, right? This would make her incredibly powerful, and I would probably consider taking her to Dark Dimension 5, but we don't know. And that's the biggest problem, is that we don't have any word from Scopely yet about whether or not this is going to be the case, and I think we need some clarification, you know, as we usually do when it comes to these issues, about whether or not this kit is actually going to stay the same, and whether or not they plan on changing any of this, because this is all, this part is super important. If they don't change it, then yeah, I'm gonna have to invest in, I will invest into Spider-Woman. If they do change it back to War Only, then I may not, at least not as heavily, because it's not going to be as RNG Fiesta in Scourge. But that's what I'm worried about. I'm concerned, and honestly gives me a bit of nightmare chills of Scourge 1 with the over resetting of nodes 5 and 10 on Scourge. I'm sure many of you remember this as well, and it wasn't fun. It was probably the least fun part of Scourge, actually. I really did not enjoy it, so I hope that we're not going back to that. Let me know in the comments down below. Like, would you prefer to see it changed, or would you prefer to see it kept? I think a lot of people would like to see it kept, but by keeping it, kind of, again, it brings out that RNG Fiesta that's going to happen with the Scourge if we keep it the way it is. If it goes back, we might not. But I guess part of it is how is Scourge designed, and we don't know that, I guess. How are the nodes designed? Are they designed with this part, with this 25% accuracy in mind or not? Right? And we don't know. So, there's only one way to find out, and that's by waiting, I guess. But until then, I think I'll be holding off from any you know, large amounts of investment in this character until I know what the heck is going on. So that's it, just for a quick video about Spider-Woman, in case people were unaware about what's going on. And of course, everyone, until next time, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.